So there are a few basic circuit symbols which you will be expected to know and be able to identify. So we've got a few on the screen here and we're just going to run through the ones that you do need to know. So the first one we've got, well, the first two are actually both switches, but they do look slightly different, and that's because the bottom one is a closed switch and the top one is an open switch. And a switch basically works when it's open, it allows the current to, when it's closed, it allows the current to flow, and when the switch is open and the current does not flow, the circuit is broken. The next one over here is a lamp. So this is the symbol with the X in the middle, that's what we call a lamp. And below that we have a fuse, and a fuse works basically, it's rated at a certain current, and if the current goes above that, then the fuse will melt and your circuit will break. So let's draw a few more here. The next one we're going to look at looks like this, and this is essentially a cell. And so you'll have a positive terminal, which is the longer side, and the negative terminal, which is the shorter side, is what we call a cell. It provides voltage. The next one we're going to look at is a voltmeter. A voltmeter is used to measure a voltage. And the next one then below that we'll actually draw an ammeter. An ammeter, like a voltmeter, but it measures current instead. So this is what we call an ammeter, and this should actually be called a voltmeter. Okay, and a cell, we've looked at one cell, but when you put several cells together, you get what we call a battery. And so the way that works, it's just a collection of cells. So in the middle, you'll have a dotted line to show that you'll have however many cells you want, and then another cell there. So again, you still got the positive terminals, and this is what we call a battery. So it's a collection of individual cells. So the next one we're going to have a look at is a diode, which looks something like this. And the way a diode works, it only allows current to flow in one particular direction. So in this case, the current would only flow in this direction. If you try to reverse the current and put it in this way, the diode would not let that happen. The next one we're going to look at is a resistor. So a resistor is quite a simple one of the more common ones you'll come across, and essentially it just adds a certain resistance. Next up, we're going to have a type of resistor called a thermistor, so we'll draw that underneath. So the way a thermistor works is the resistance can change depending on the temperature. So you could have a negative coefficient thermistor or a positive coefficient thermistor, and essentially the resistance of the thermistor will change along with the temperature, and it's specifically designed to do that. The next one we are going to look at is the variable resistor. So again, another subset of the resistor, and the way a variable resistor works is essentially you can vary the resistance. So there might be a little switch or a toggle on the variable resistor which allows you to actually change what resistance it's at. So you can set it yourself. And then we've got a couple of interesting ones to finish off. We have the light dependent resistor, and again this is another type of resistor, and much like the thermistor, it's dependent on something else. But instead of being dependent on the temperature, it's dependent on light. You might have guessed from the name. So that looks like this. You've got a couple arrows coming in on the top left, and this is what we call a light dependent resistor, or for short, often called an LDR. And along with the light dependent resistor, you also have a light emitting diode. So again, we're going to take our diode and we're going to put some arrows this time pointing outwards towards the top right. Okay, so that's the difference in terms of the symbol. And this is an LED or light emitting diode. Okay, so those are the circuit symbols. And we'll do a quick quiz to see what you remember. Okay, so to test what you remember, I've just taken the symbols themselves without the labels on them, and you can label them yourselves without looking at your notes, without looking at the video. Have a go, try and label all of these. So I'll just scroll down, pause the video, and do have a go at labeling all of them. And once you're done, you can go back to the video to check your answers. Okay, so hopefully this video was useful, and I'll see you in the next one.